Hey Pisces, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot. I apologize for a little bit of a delay in the videos. There's a few days I needed to take off for some personal stuff that was going on in my life. But hopefully we're back on track. One of the things I probably wouldn't normally feel the need to share with you, but some of the things that I think might be going on for Pisces at this time is that when your energy is down or when you're feeling tired, it's okay to pause. Even when there's 100 people relying on you, sometimes we create these things in our heads like everything will fall apart if we don't do the things that we have to do on a daily basis. We get stuck in this thought process that, you know, if we put something off and we are not willing to be flexible in our schedules and the pressures that are on us at this time, when we're so deliberate in our actions, we put too much weight on ourselves. And so there are times, and the retrograde Mercury that Pisces is going through in their first house is a really good example of when we have to be and remain flexible and able to flow. And when our bodies are tired, we have to be able to rest. And when our mind is tired, we have to know when to shut it down for a little while. It's a really important lesson. You can't be the best, and you can't offer to others when you're operating from an empty or tired place. And so, although we're trained throughout life to feel like we have to keep going, people are relying on us, and that by letting other people down, we let ourselves down, but really it's quite the opposite. If we put ourselves as a priority, if we make the caring and the nurturing of ourselves a priority, the rest just kind of all falls into place. But our bodies are equipped with this amazing ability to sense our needs, and it's really not that cool to ignore those things. So although I felt the need to apologize for taking some time off in my life, it just seems really fitting that I'm starting this up in a Pisces video where maybe you guys need an example of this when your energy is low and when you're tired and you can't do any more for other people. It's absolutely okay to take a break. And you don't even have to say I'm sorry. Just know that when you come back and you're ready to deliver and work again, you're going to be that much better at what you do and what you're able to provide for others. Looking at the astrology this month, Pisces, you are equipped at operating in the dark. And I think we've been through several months of operating in the light, in the reality, in the Capricorn world, which is your 11th house. So as dreamy and wispy as the Pisces always are, when it comes to your dreams coming true, when it comes to what you want to achieve in this world, you have enormous Capricorn strength in your 11th house. And that talks a lot about how you are there for others. How sometimes Pisces can be the very rocks in their friends' lives, in the groups of people. But we're also dealing with an energy that is hitting you in a lot of these houses where you could be blindsided. So Neptune going through Pisces at this time, this is your element, and it's okay. You've been dealing with that for a little while, but it's moving on to, it's at 17 degrees now, so we're really at a midpoint with Neptune. Neptune is the there's always a question with Neptune of, are we being fed illusions or are these our dreams? There's always a questioning, and really I like to always equate it to your level of faith. You know, if you are somebody who is in that mentality of everything always goes wrong, people always deceive me, if you operate from a place of having very little faith, then of course Neptune will continuously deliver illusions and deception because it's exactly what you're expecting. But if you could operate from the higher octave of Pisces, if you could really truly lose yourself in the spirituality and the freedom that Neptune can bring, and not by means of escapism, if you could harness that faith in the way that the universe works, well, then Neptune can deliver a lot more magical tools to your toolbox that you need. And February is a month when you really need to harness in on that toolbox. Okay, so you have Venus now moving through your second house. Venus spent some time going through your first house, which may have felt a little bit like a revival period. Venus can re-energize or just bring comfort. And so either you were being comforted or there were situations that were providing you comfort, and that's good. That's great. Venus is now moving into your second, which could attract money. It could put a little bit of emphasis into your careers at the time. It could also make you spend money. It could increase expenses. And so there's a little bit of having to be prepared now, especially as that retrograde Mercury goes through the first with Venus in the second. There can be scenarios of unexpected things occurring, which may lean towards some unexpected expenses. How do we deal with that? We go with the flow, right? That's all that Mercury retrograde is asking us to do, is kind of master the going with the flow. And the knowing that abundance in money or any other type of form, love, whatever it is, it could always rebound itself. So yes, there may be months when things are expensive or months when bills come in that we weren't expecting, but then, you know, it's always made up for. It's always covered one way or another. And again, that's that faith and knowing that the universe will always provide for us. Uranus going through your third house could bring up a lot of psychological stuff for you, a lot of energy. It could be just a lot of momentum in your neighborhood. It could be a lot of momentum in your day-to-day schedules. It could be cars breaking down. You may find that there's constantly traffic jams trying to find a new way to get to work, or you're just always dealing with delays. And this week, Uranus is going to be a little bit more active, so you might see more stuff in the way of computer crashes at work or electronics not working, dropping the cell phone, cracking the phone case, you know, just these sorts of everyday annoyances that could occur, which can make you feel maybe even a little disorganized, having a hard time really focusing. And it could also bring up sudden things in the lives of your siblings or your cousins, because when I see a third house transit, sometimes nothing actually happens to us, but it's the people that are involved with our third house that tend to get a lot of action, and therefore we may be called to be there for them. So you may have, you know, a sibling or a cousin whose car breaks down and you have to run and rescue them. And those are just kind of the things that are going to happen in the next month or so. Dealing with a full moon in your sixth house. So this is a nice energy if you can harness it. because it talks about your daily routines. It talks about your rituals. The sixth house can also talk about co-workers, employees, people that do work around your house or services for you, babysitters, stuff like that. So you might have an energy that's leaving, maybe a coworker or an employee that announces that they're leaving. A full moon does sort of bring endings, but this full moon has a little bit of a different energy to it because we're also at a time we are sort of harnessing what we really want and need. So when we have a full moon in that sixth house, and your cards are backing this up, so I feel like we're on something here. But when you have a full moon in your sixth house, generally things need to change or be done differently in your day-to-day life in order to make room for the new. And so that might be a theme that you're working on this month, and that could very well take place on a psychological realm as well in your sixth house. Your sixth and 12th house axis is your subconscious and the day-to-day thoughts that you have. So breaking patterns with that, this is a really great time. This is a great time to start a workout regimen or a diet. This is a fantastic time to cut out the sugar, cut out the cigarettes, cut out the alcohol, the things that might be depleting you or depleting your energy that you need to get through your daily activities. And then we have Mars, which is getting ready. It's at the very end of your 10th house now, and it's getting ready to move into the 11th house. So let's talk about that. Mars being at the end of Sag in your 10th house. Now, Mars is going to be going over the galactic center right now. This is a really important Mars week. And so we're seeing action in our 10th house. Our 10th house is our careers. It is our destiny in this world. So whether it's in your career, it could be in relationships, it could be in pretty much any realm of your chart. That 10th house is just what you put out into the world, what you're meant to do in this lifetime. So if it's not active within a career setting, you know, it could even be a hobby that you're really passionate about. It could be a relationship that you're very passionate about, but this is something that's your life's work and your karma. And when we see this action point coming up now, I see an area where we can make a lot of progress. But this time is murky with all of that retrograde Mercury, with all of that Neptunian. We're getting ready for the sun to move into Pisces. So you may have to really rely on your intuition for the time being to get you through this phase until things start to really open themselves up and make themselves clear. And they will. But now is a time when you have to really reach down into your intuition, Pisces, and you may have to make some decisions based on the unknowing at this time. Mid-month on, so from about the 16th on, Mars is going to move into Capricorn. This could be tough. This is the 11th house transit, so like I talked about, this is your friends, associations, groups, but it's also your dreams come true. It's the things that you manifest in this lifetime. It's also, you know, long distance travel and really some wonderful opportunities. But this is an area in your life where you've gone through this major transformation recently. This is where the conjunction with Saturn and Pluto occurred. First, we're going to have Mars move over the south node. And that could be triggering some old wounds. It could trigger some of the things that happened over the eclipses and over the conjunction in early to mid-January. Bring those things up for review again. And Mars can trigger those. And then you're going to hit, Mars will come conjunct with Jupiter. Once that occurs, Mars will deliver a great source of energy for you to be able to go after what you want to go after now in that 11th house. It could bring you new connections, new networking people, new opportunities. Jupiter is great in that area. And then Mars will then make the rest of the path through all of March, where it crosses over Pluto, Ceres, and Saturn. Again, it's going to be triggering some of the stuff that we've already lived through, some of the things that we've had to separate during the conjunction. And those things will be up for review and for processing. I see this as a way where we're mentally processing the physical realities of the things that have transformed and changed in our lives. The Pisces, really important for you is to realize that when the sun is in Aquarius, during Aquarius season, even though you guys had Venus and then Mercury, which I'm not sure how much Mercury is helping you right now, except for through that intuitive connection. When the sun is in Aquarius, it's time for Pisces to rest. I like to tell this to every sign. When we are about a month out from your birthday is probably the least amount of energy you will feel, because the sun is very far and you can't connect with it. Things in your 12th house you can't see properly. So there could be opportunities that are right in front of you that you're just not seeing at this time, and you will. You will in a couple of weeks, but right now, again, it's that time to lean on your intuition and see through the dark. Right now is an excellent time to really focus on your self-care, your self-nurturing, and your self-healing, and to just kind of get ready, because as that sun moves into Pisces around the 18th of the month, you're going to see an energy shift. Things are going to get more active for you. Things will start to move, but right now it's being stuck in that unknowing. So let's take a look at the cards. Center of your reading, 9 of Wands. Along with this popped out my card of Pisces, the High Priestess. So this talks to me about an area in your life where you feel like you need to protect yourself. You know, this is your intuition telling you to draw some boundaries and start to express what you really want and start really defending the things that you really want and believe in. This was crossed by the 9 of Cups. So Pisces might be coming into an energy where you're deciding that you want to take a certain path, and you know that that path could lead you to that wish fulfillment, and that you need to protect your path and your energy while you're going through this process. Your fears. Now, I just mentioned that Mars coming up and meeting up with the South Node. This could be an area where we have to cut some stuff away. Again, also dealing with that Leo full moon in your 6th house. Your fears at this time is the 10 of Wands and the Ace of Wands. So this clearly tells me that if you don't make some space in your life, then the new opportunities can't come in. So it might just be too much going on right now. Maybe wanting to, you know, this could be a situation where you realize you're really into, let's just take a hobby for, you know, you want to take classes and to further your knowledge in a certain area. But even though you're really passionate and this would be a dream come true for you to have the time and the space to kind of study this or, you know, nurture this new dream, It's like the not having time in reality, having to turn away opportunities because you don't have time. So I think what my Pisces are going through is, quite honestly, a shifting in your priorities. Now, when I look at what's crowning you and what your hopes are, so Pisces, someone may have disappointed you and let you down. Someone might have said some things that broke your heart, may have delivered some truths in which you've had to take time to heal from. But I don't think that it came from a place of malice, and I don't think that it came from a person that didn't love you. This doesn't feel like an attack. This feels like somebody delivered or said something to you that you really needed to hear. This may have been something that made you look at situations a little bit differently. Maybe in places where maybe you sabotage yourself. Okay. And when it comes from a King of Cups place, it's like you or someone else were attacking a situation. The Knight of Swords, he might talk harshly, but he's delivering the truth. And he's coming in and he's saying the things that need to be said in the time that they need to be said. And it could feel as though someone is really letting you down. It could feel like someone is telling you to grow up or to give up on certain dreams. It could be somebody telling you, I see this as a masculine figure in your life. Somebody telling you that you do need some boundaries. I want to take a look at this recent past because this was somewhat confusing the way that this came out, because these two cards they came out together. And this is a very confusing duality here. Because the Five of Cups is somebody who is focusing on all of the things that they don't have. And there's a lot of guilt and remorse here, and a lot of feeling as though you don't deserve. But she comes out with the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups absolutely knows what they deserve. The Queen of Cups is very clear on what they want and what they need and what they expect to receive. Okay, the Queen of Cups is very well versed in the knowing her emotional needs, how to fill her own cup. Okay, so maybe there was a situation in the recent past in which you may have been depending on someone else a little too much in regards to your happiness and your emotional stability. Okay, and that's where I think this may come into play here. Because if you see, we do have a couple here on the table. We do have a mastering of the masculine and the feminine here. in the way that we have control over our emotions. We have control over who and what we love and what we deserve. Now, when I clarified these, they came out like this. So this may have been a situation in which you really thought there was a future. There was a lot of hope here. There was a lot of love, and there was a lot of stability. And Pisces, maybe you did something, or something here was lost. There was a loss of this feeling of stability. And sometimes this happens when we get stuck in a mindset. Now you see there's the wands, so this is our passion, our wants, and our drive, and our ambition. But sometimes we get stuck in this watery place where we want to keep looking at the cups that have spilled. This is a kind of living in the past. So Pisces, this is really true for you, and Virgos, who is your opposite, your seventh sign, your seventh house sign. The magical way that I always look at it is, if you're experiencing anxiety, then you are living too much in the future. And if you're experiencing depression, then you're living a little bit too much in the past, in the would've, could'ves, and should'ves, right? And so that's really important to acknowledge that when you're in a place of the present, in the now, reaching that point of mental stability in the present moment, because there's always the exact moment that we're in right now, and how do we want to spend our energy? Do we want to spend our time regretting and resenting our past? Probably not. But do we want to give up the present moments, the things that we could do in these moments, the times when we could hug our children or put a puzzle together, take that extra 10 minutes to put them to bed? If we're sacrificing those moments because we are continually needing to feed on our dreams of what the future is, well, then we're stealing from the present moment. And it's really important for Pisces this month to understand that you cannot steal from the present in order to change the past or in order to fulfill the future. And it's really important for you to stay in the now. Clarifying this Queen of Cups, which I see my Pisces is going from a Five of Cups, somebody who was living in the past, living under all the things that went wrong, okay? And they're moving into the idea that we're allowed to recreate our futures, we're allowed to rebuild, we're allowed to start new. And again, that Queen of Cups, this is somebody who knows and understands that she has to have the ability to fill her own cup, and then that makes her have the ability to take care of those around her. And that's really all that Queen of Cups wants to do, is support and be there for the people that she loves. But the Queen of Cups also has to know that it's very easy to slip out into this feeling of what we left behind. Again, this is more of the living in the past. But with the Strength card, it's the ability to get past the abandonment issues that this card talks to me about. So if you are someone who's recently divorced and had to sort of rebuild your own foundations on your own, and building up walls around you, You know, everybody's been through that, even with the loss of a job. And it's, you know, well, I have to make sure I could support myself, or those fears we tend to live over and over in our mind, and therefore we have to save that extra money every month. And it's a mature and the right thing to do to prepare for disasters to happen. And that's okay to be prepared, but we can't live in that mindset, okay? Because this is very much a mindset, the lack mentality. I will never be able to do that. I'll never be able to afford that. We'll never be able to take those kinds of vacations, or I'm never going to have that kind of relationship in my life. And that is exactly what my Pisces are working on overcoming here. Because once you overcome that mindset, and guys, look at the beautiful yellow here. This is all that solar plexus power, that drive for stability that's in yourself. And that's where the intuition is going to call you this month, to understand that you are being led, that your feelings are leading you to the stability that you need. And you don't want to stay in these places, in these dark, gray places. It's okay to leave those things behind now. Where past the conjunction, we've made the sacrifices, we've done the work, and now we're rebuilding. And we don't want to rebuild from this mentality. We want to rebuild with all of the magic that is new to us. We cannot bring our past into this journey. And so for some people, this is a very difficult time, because we've left the old people and the old situations behind. Great. But we can't carry that mentality of, well, the next person's just going to screw me over too, or the next job is just going to be another series of empty promises. We have to leave that all behind. When we want new beginnings, we have to start with new hope and new love for them. And that's very evident, because this is what's coming for you. In the knowing, in the truthfulness, in the place where you're emotionally truthful with yourself. If you have a partner in which is really talking to you and telling you the truth, this person, although they could say things that could really upset you, I get the feeling that they're just trying to show you a different perspective. You know, they might not have the best way to say it, but they're making you move. They're making you see things differently. And they're making you see that all of these opportunities for success, for acknowledging the things that you've changed, acknowledging where you stand out. This could be a promotion. This could be a new relationship. This is just honestly having the courage. This is a Leo card. This is having the courage to move forth into, into new situations that are going to serve you better. The advice is the Fool, clarified by the Knight of Cups. So it looks like something is moving towards you. Now, it could be an emotional offer. It could be an offer of love. It's early, it's the beginning, but the universe wants you, again, we're looking at that yellow. All that yellow and everything that you guys want. There's so much yellow. Pisces, you might do well this month working with crystals that kind of speak to you in these colors. You know, I don't like to recommend certain crystals for people, because I think it all really, you just kind of have to feel your way through. But if you are interested and you want to go to a store and follow your instincts and your intuition. Maybe just picking up a small stone with these lighter colors, even just wearing yellow or eating yellow. It could really open up some of this intuitive strength in you to get you kind of past or over this hump. And like I said, the Pisces are kind of having to see through the dark in a way. And so it's asking you to rely on the fact that there is light at the end of this tunnel. There is a lot of light. And so even in times of meditation or if you're feeling really stressed, you could kind of just close your eyes and just envision that color yellow. Envision yourself surrounded by that color yellow, that drive for success, and that the universe is going to bring you exactly what you need, and you're going to know exactly where to go. And there is something definitely about Pisces, if there's parts of your life that are not true to you, that are not truthfully sitting with you, if you're in a relationship where you can't be yourself, if you're in a job where you can't be yourself and it's causing you to feel trapped, maybe even in situations, financial situations, where you need to acknowledge that you need some help. I do see that as well in these cards. If there's a financial situation that you don't want to tell anybody about, it's really just a disservice to you, because I feel like you do have help around. I feel like there's an opportunity. There's people surrounding you that do care. And that are willing to help, and that it's quite literally just a Pisces that's not letting people in. And it's the fear of the being judged or persecuted by the matter. It's the fear of, it's the fear of somebody maybe cutting you off or saying no that's getting in your way of accomplishing what you need to accomplish, because this is quite honestly, the truth will set you free. Speaking the truth and being honest and asking for the help, asking for the blank, for the whatever you need, it's in the bravery of asking is where the changes really occur for you this month. And the overall energy, bottom of the card, is the King of Wands. So I think that there's an overall, guys, check this out, because this is like the perfect balancing. If you look at these colors, he has that yellow behind him. It's his backbone, his intuition, his solar plexus, his ability to know when to move and when to go after the things is what brings him the success. But he's surrounded by that beautiful color blue, which talks to me about the throat chakra, which talks to me about the also knowing when to open up those communications, when to ask for help, when to tell somebody what you need. So there's a beautiful full circle energy here, in which it's kind of the opening of all of the chakras. You've got the sacral chakra, you've got the root chakra, you've got the heart chakra. This is somebody who knows what they want, the drive. They know exactly what they want and all of their dreams to come true, and they just have to be brave enough to do it and to talk about it and to acknowledge it. Your astrology cards for this month back this up completely. Fire element, desire. Okay, great. We're coming up on this full moon today. The acknowledging of the fire, the knowing that there's something out there that you truly want and need. It is the 12th house, escape. Again, that Leo fire desire and that 6th house full moon. Is there something that you're leaving behind, an addiction or an unhealthy habit that you need to break? The 12th house is the area where we come undone. It is our undoing. It is what subconsciously drives us. So it can be forms of addiction and escapism. It can be where we refuse to open up to others, where we confine ourselves, build the boundaries, build the walls around us, and decide to not let anybody in. You know, our egos can be extremely overprotective at these times. And so sometimes in a 12th house transit, we become all too clear on how we do tend to escape through the drinking or the drugs or the numbing or the TV or, you know, whatever bad habit, or it could be through the negative self-talk, the negative karmic patterns. And these are the things that we're breaking from. We're transforming those. So this is a major transformation for you. This is when your inner strength is kind of drawn out so that we can get through this phase of our lives and into that new phase. This seemed like such a big reading, and I felt like it. I felt like we were carrying such a heavy energy again of that moving through the dark and the not knowing. Pisces, also pay attention to your dreams, because you might be getting some real advice from spirit through your dreams. So if anybody has the ability to keep a notebook and a pen next to your bed, and when you wake up in the morning, before you start flipping through your phone or looking through Instagram, take a minute to just write down your dreams and the things. Just try to remember them. Remember, most importantly, even if you don't have a real clear memory of what they are, just write down how you felt through that dream, because you might be led towards the unbreaking of some of these karmic things that are going on. I pulled an extra from my absolute favorite tarot deck, which I don't use all of the time. Certain months I'll bring them out for certain signs, but sometimes I just like to have them near me for if I feel like you need them. And Pisces, yours was calling to me today. The first one that came up was the inner temple. Devotion. Tune in to the portal of your heart. So this goes along. Look at how beautiful these cards are. The most beautiful cards. This goes along with the acknowledging of those desires that are within you, all of the things that you want and need, and the bravery that you have to go after them. And then you got unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Again, Pisces, if you're feeling like you don't have a lot of energy, it could quite possibly be because you're doing so much work when you're resting. You might be doing a lot of these things in your sleep. Sometimes we don't realize that we're reckoning old past lives in our dreams, in our sleepscapes, which can make us feel a little bit drained. And maybe you have someone in your life that's saying to you, do you really have to take another nap? Can you maybe do the dishes? Can you take the garbage out? And try not to get into arguments with this person. Really try to talk to them, let them know what's going on and how you're feeling. Again, if you're feeling like you're depressed or you need help, it is only you that can communicate those things to the people around you. You don't want to keep people guessing. And then you put them in a place of feeling bad or feeling guilty for saying something, and it just creates resentments, and that's a whole mess. So again, Pisces, we're going to work on speaking our truths, talking about exactly what we need and want and expect from others, and we're going to make our dreams a real reality this month. That's your job. Okay, so I will be back very shortly in the next couple of days working on your Valentine's Day love readings, Pisces, but it looks like I do have to say I do pick up a very supportive presence in your life, be that a partner or a boss or a friend, but there is someone extremely important to you, someone that you're connecting to this month that it really holds the keys in helping you express yourself. So work on that and work on getting comfortable with who you are and what you want. I am excited to enter into Pisces season with you next month. All right, lots of love. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.